$4.7 trillion. This is shocking. Also, I'd like to thank today's video sponsor, Aura, but more on them in just a couple minutes. First off, let me ask you a quick question. Do you have $4.7 trillion in savings? I'm not sure about you, but I certainly do not. However, this brings me into the new report that I want to talk about right here in this video that is showing at the end of the second quarter 2022, the American people collectively had $4.7 trillion in savings. I guess my question to that is, who and can we have some? Well, the report goes on to show some other very interesting statistics that I also want to share with you as well. They went on in this report to say that most of this money is actually coming from the $1.5 trillion worth of stimulus that was distributed over the last couple years. However, that's a little bit of a head scratcher right there because here's the deal. We did not get $1.5 trillion in stimulus. In fact, with the 3 stimulus checks that we received over the last few years, collectively it added up to just under $900 billion. So I'm really not sure where they're getting the other $600 billion from to say $1.5 trillion. It was not that. It was just under $900 billion. So that one to me is a little bit confusing. They did not elaborate where the extra $600 billion is coming from that they are quoting in this report. But either way, they're saying that the American people collectively right now have $4.7 trillion in savings, which is also a little bit interesting as well because I was just out in a separate video about a week and a half, maybe 2 weeks or so ago, talking about a separate report that was also released where the Federal Reserve actually anticipated the American people had trillions and trillions of dollars in savings. And then sure enough, when we got this new report out about consumer spending for the second quarter of 2022, it actually went on to show that the American people added another $351 billion worth of debt just in that quarter alone. So again, just with that statistical data right there, it simply shows, wait, if we have trillions of dollars worth of savings, then why are we opening up all these credit cards and why are we floating all these balances on credit cards again, right? It's not adding up. Does anybody else see this, that we're kind of feeling like none of these numbers are really adding up right now? So again, $4.7 trillion is what they're saying in this report. And again, my big question to that is where and who? I'd like to know the answers to that question as well, right? Well, the report also goes on to show that in 2020, the American people had the highest savings rate that we've seen since 1944. That's what they're saying in this report. So let me tell you the details about it. So apparently in 2020, the American people had a savings rate of 17%. That is apparently the highest savings rate that we've seen since 1944 when it was 27%. And again, really? Are people really saving 17% of their income right now? Again, to me, that is a little bit confusing, and honestly, these numbers are not adding up to me. But either way, this is a new report that was just released. I wanted to bring it to your attention right here in this video. Now, at the same time, we also want to protect our money, and we want to protect our identity as well, right? These things are very, very important, especially with everything going on right now, which is exactly what I want to talk about with a quick word from today's sponsor. I'm excited to partner with today's sponsor, Aura, the easy-to-use app with everything included to keep you safe online. Aura protects you from scammers and hackers by constantly scanning through the so-called dark web where these criminals sell personal information like email addresses, passwords, and even social security numbers. If they find any of your information, they alert you immediately. They also help fight back against these annoying websites that make your information public by automatically requesting removal of your personal information, which also helps reduce robocalls, and we all know we get a lot of robocalls these days. Now here's the part I really like about Aura. They practically give you real-time alerts about suspicious credit inquiries. In other words, if somebody's trying to open a loan or a credit card using your name and social security number. Now that's pretty important. Something else that's nice about Aura, their VPN allows you to stay anonymous online by keeping your browsing history and personal information secure and encrypted. Not only that, they help protect your devices from viruses, malware, and spyware to keep the bad guys out exactly where they belong, Maybe you already have an app that does one of these things. The cool thing about Aura, you don't need 7 different apps, you just need this one. So leave it up to Aura to do all the hard work of keeping you safe online. In fact, they're going to give you a special offer. If you use my link down below in the description to sign up, they're going to give you a 2-week free trial to try it out. And I can tell you this much, you're going to be shocked and probably a little bit alarmed of how much Aura finds for you during that 2 weeks. If you want to grab your 2-week free trial, simply go to aura.com/blindtobillionaire or check out the link down below in the description. As you could see with the statistics and the report that I just shared with you a few minutes ago, the numbers are simply not adding up. Here's what's interesting. They continue to come out with these reports like this saying that we have almost $5 trillion in savings collectively across all the American people. That's a lot of money, by the way, almost $5 trillion. Here's what's also interesting about it. From early 2020 until early 2021, they printed about $6 trillion. Now, don't get me wrong. Yes, some of that money did go into the pockets of the American people through stimulus checks, through expanded unemployment benefits, through the PPP with small business. I mean, there were a bunch of different things that were going on. But the fact of the matter is that $6 trillion did not go into the pockets of the people, and there is no way there is still $4.7 trillion in savings hanging around in our accounts. If that's the case, that just means that there are a few select people out there in the country that virtually have all the money, because it's certainly not in the pockets of the people. And if it's in your pocket, I mean, seriously, please let me know. And are you feeling a little generous these days? You know what I mean? Seriously, I can tell you this much. I do not have it. If I did, we would not need to have this conversation because we'd be having a pretty fun time right now. I can promise you that much. If I ever had that much money, I can tell you this much. I would do anything I possibly could to get it out to you, and I would do as much as I could to share with everybody here in this community. But I can promise you, I do not have $4.5 trillion, not even close, okay? So, not even anywhere close to that. A bunch of zeros, I can tell you that much, but not much more than that, okay? So, here's what's interesting though. At the same time, like I said earlier, we continue to see all these reports that come out showing that huge percentage of the American people are living paycheck to paycheck. People are floating balances on credit cards. We're adding more debt at record levels in this country, and the highest levels that we've seen since 2007, so about 15 years ago. Okay, if that's the case, if we have so much money, $4.7 trillion in all of this savings, then why are people opening up all these new credit cards? Then why are we floating balances on credit cards? Why are we getting all these auto loans, mortgages, things like this? If that were the case, wouldn't everybody just be going out and paying cash for all their houses and buying cars left and right and all the latest hot cars every single day? Wouldn't that be the case? And actually, I don't know, maybe being able to pay their utility bills and things like this. In fact, I just talked about this the other day as well. I just saw another report. They're actually anticipating this winter there's going to be a tsunami of shutoffs when it comes to utilities. As of right now, there's about 23 million households in the United States that are delinquent on utility bills. In other words, they're late on utility bills. Again, is that a sign of $4.7 trillion in savings? I don't think so. Maybe I'm totally mistaken here, but I don't think so. I'm a pretty logical person. I like to look through everything from a very logical standpoint. To me, that makes no logical sense, okay? Again, maybe I'm completely wrong with all this stuff, but these are the reports that are coming out right now. And this one report that I'm discussing here in this video, the $4.7 trillion that they claim that we have, again, is just one report. However, if you've been watching the videos here on the channel for the last, year and a half, almost 2 years now, I've come back multiple times a week, and I've talked about multiple different reports that are being released showing the American people are struggling on by right now. In fact, I just saw a report about a week ago as well, and I talked about it in a video as well, where 66% of the population right now, regardless of income level, doesn't matter. It could be somebody with a $10,000 income, $50,000 income, $80,000 a year income, $120,000 a year income. Doesn't really matter. The reports are still coming on to show 66% of the population in this country are living paycheck to paycheck. I also just saw another report that came out saying a record number of people with a six-figure income are shopping at Walmart these days. Again, nothing bad about Walmart. I'm being all totally real with you. I shop at Walmart as well. Why wouldn't you? You get cheaper things there. Prices are definitely a lot lower at Walmart than what they are at other stores. Why not save money? If you've been watching the videos here on the channel for a while now, again, you've heard me say this before. I love saving money. I'm all about getting a deal. I'm all about getting a discount. I'm all about using coupons and cashback apps and all stuff like this. I do that because for me, I look at the same situation thinking, why can't I save a few dollars if I go to this store versus that store? Why wouldn't I buy this product and save, 50 cents or $1 or whatever? It all adds up. 50 cents here, $1 there. It all adds up. After a few days, after a couple months, here you're sitting on 10, 20, 50, $100 more if you just, kind of do things like this. And again, I've said that very clearly in a bunch of other videos as well. I'm all about discounts and saving money. But again, this report is going on to show a record number of people with a six-figure income are now shopping at Walmart because everybody knows Walmart has great prices. And again, it's a lot more affordable to shop there. You get more for less, right? So why wouldn't you do it, right? And again, I think that's the case that all of us are understanding right now is this is a tough time. So again, I'm going to go out there on a limb right now and say this much. Great report. I love it. But at the same time, I'm really skeptical of $4.7 trillion actually being locked up in savings accounts right now. Maybe it really is, but I just don't know about that. Unless there's a small collection of people that have the vast majority of that. And I just don't think that's the case because it's just not. That's just not how it works. People don't sit on that much money in savings. In order to have $4.7 trillion in savings across all the American people, we'd all need to have quite a bit of it, okay? We'd all have to have a pretty substantial amount. Now, again, I'm going to be honest with you. I did not run the calculations on that to see what it actually comes out to be, but we would need to have a pretty substantial amount of money each person in order for that to actually be true. So, anyway, like I said, great report. I don't want to completely dismiss it, but at the same time, I am a little bit skeptical about that number because the numbers continue to show that that's just not even accurate. Now, here's another thing as well. In this report, they also went on to show that prior to 2020, so prior to all this stimulus actually going out, and again, the stimulus only accounted for less than $900 billion, so nowhere near the 1.5 trillion that they're citing in this report, and nowhere near the 4.7 that they claim that we have right now. But basically, what they said is prior to the year 2020, the American people collectively at any given time had $1 trillion in savings. Honestly, that's probably a lot more realistic, and that's probably a lot more reasonable because there's 333 million people in this country. Could it be reasonable to think that across all 333 million people, all of us collectively have $1 trillion? Yeah, that's probably completely reasonable. Again, I don't know what that calculates out to as far as the math goes on that, but it's not really all that much money. But when we're talking nearly $5 trillion, that's a lot more money that every single person needs to have. And that's just not the case right now because guess who's getting the money? The retailers, the stores, basically everybody because of all the inflation. But is it because the retailers are being unfair? Now again, everybody has their own opinions on this, but I'm going to share with you my honest opinion on this. I really don't think it's the retailers because they're passing those expenses on to us, the consumer, because they have to pay more because of supply chain issues, the cost of production, labor costs, all the things like that, high gas prices, transportation, packaging, everything's just more expensive. That's just how it is, right? So again, maybe some retailers out there, some corporations, yes, maybe a few of them are being a little bit unfair, but I would say for the most part, unfortunately, I think it's a lot of other issues higher up the chain with the supply chain and production and material costs and labors and stuff like that, like I just said, which is actually really causing the actual increases in prices. And then the retailer, unfortunately, has to incur those expenses and then they pass them on to us, the consumer. So that's just my honest opinion about it. Again, I could be completely wrong, but again, that's just what I'm understanding with the whole situation going on right now. Anyway, another crazy report I wanted to share with you here in this video. I hope this one helps you. Like I've always said before, I want want to keep you posted with everything going on because we got to continue watching all this and all these reports that are coming out, because at any given time, all of this could impact the current situation as far as what the administration is saying, what Congress is saying, and what they're doing for the American people. This is very, very important. Anyway, hope you're doing well. Please subscribe down below if you haven't done so yet. Share the video with your friends, family, social media, and go back and check out any of the other thousands of videos here on the channel. Until next time, enjoy your day, have a good one, and I'll catch you again later.